All right, so what you have over here is somebody who said that it was just a backlight fuse that they needed. And one of the things that I'm always telling you guys is that you really shouldn't be doing what people ask you to do. You should be figuring out what they want, and then you come up with what it is you have to do. So this has a board that has a beautiful backlight fuse with no problems, but it has a chip that is LP8550 that is totally fucked. As you can see, under it looks pretty nasty and corroded, destroyed, worthless shit here, and I'm just running a bunch of little jumpers for the switch and the feedback trace over here so that I can actually have this board work again. And one of the things that I've always said about when people ask you to do specific things and why it is I don't do that. Yeah, one of the things you have to think about is that a lot of the times people don't really want to take responsibility for their own mistakes, especially when it being your mistake versus their mistake will mean a difference in what they have to pay. So what do I mean by that? So this one person was begging me to replace their backlight fuse, that motherboard repair rate, that's not for me, right? Like they got this idea that it's not like the rate that they're going to be paying. I'm not the asshole that's going to charge them that much. Like that's for the rest of the world, right? And it's like, no, that's for everybody, really. And the thing is, let's say I actually replaced that fuse for $50. Knowing in my heart of hearts that it's not the problem before I even took the back cover off of the computer. And let's say that I replaced that piece for you and it doesn't work. There's a lot of room for a lot of paranoid thoughts to start running through this person's head. They could start thinking things like, okay, he must have screwed it up. My estimate is not wrong. So now you're dealing with ego, which is a pain in the ass. I know I'm right. You got that whole male ego shit. Then you could also be dealing with something even worse, which is paranoia, which is he's not stupid, but he purposely did the job wrong so that he could upsell me on something else. And now you're dealing with trust issues and all sorts of other nonsense that really wastes time and ruins your ability to deal with other customers. It takes away from the time that you could spend doing other repairs or doing anything else that you need to do with your business. Now, the problem, again, is it's going to be that you're going to be asking for money at the end of that for something that doesn't work. So let's say they say, replace my backlight fuse, replace this little component, and they point to it. What they're going to do is they're going to point to that little thing, and they're going to want you to replace that thing. And when it doesn't work, are they actually going to pay you? That's a big part of this problem. And they say they will. They say, oh, I'll pay you when I replace it. But they're not saying that because they actually want to pay you for replacing the component. They're saying it out of an honest, wishful thinking that that's it. And when that's not it, you're going to deal with that argument. You're going to deal with that person telling you, well, are you sure you did it right? Are you sure you used the right fuse? Let me see the fuse that you used. Let me see how you soldered it. Oh, see how it's soldered on lopsided? That's probably why it doesn't work. Again, you're going to go down that entire thing because you don't understand how people think. You don't get that when you do something that doesn't work and you ask people for money, they're going to have a natural instinct inside of them to preserve their money, which is and they're going to live out that instinct by arguing with you. And again, if in the solutions model, where I'm simply charging you a rate if it works, I could be giving you a board back with 50 wires on it, and with everything soldered on lopsided, and nobody's going to care, because in that situation, I'm charging you for something that works. There's no reason for somebody to dispute something that works. Whereas again, if I'm saying, I'm going to take $50 of your money, but I'm giving you back something that's dead, there's a lot of reason for them to dispute your work. There's a lot of reason for them to dispute the validity of what you've done. There's a lot of reason for them to accuse you of fucking up, because it's just a natural instinct. It's an instinct to protect my money. And that model is a model that I think is really, really bad. And because even though I want people to take responsibility for what they've done, even if I want people to take responsibility for wasting my time, at the end of the day, what I realize in that model is that I don't have it in me to take somebody's money when I haven't actually made their product better. If I haven't actually fixed something, if I haven't given you a new system that does something that helps you, I can't take your money. I can't. Something, even though I know that you wasted an hour of my time, I know that the hour of my time was wasted because you thought you knew better than me, even though I feel like you deserve to have to spend it. I can't bring you up in the POS system. I don't have it in me to type in, even if it was $10, I don't have it in me to type $10, hit enter and swipe your card if the result of my work did not build something or make something better. And I used to wonder why it was I was apprehensive to do these things, and it wasn't until recently that I was really able to put it into words over the past 2 or 3 years. But yeah, I don't like dealing with the back and forth when somebody's proposed solution doesn't work, and I really don't like taking money for things that don't work. I don't like wasting my time. I don't like conflict, and that's what a lot of this comes down to. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if there's a short to ground before I do anything else that caused all this nightmare to begin with. As you know, Jessa recently switched over to this model, and I think it's pretty cool. So what she used to do is she used to do, phone, all sorts of phone liquid damage repairs, and she had the specific rate for specific things with a really low cost estimate fee. And the problem with that, by the way, again, I never replaced the fuse. The fuse was never touched on this computer. And yeah, anyway, so the problem with that system is that Apple is going to replace your phone with the iPhone 5, I think for something like around $200. And here's the thing, and I don't mean to insult Jess's business in any way. Let me just say that out front. I'm not insulting her business. But if Apple's going to replace your phone for $200, 90% of the time, the solution that Jessa is going to propose that she can offer you for liquid damage repair on an iPhone 5 is going to suck. You need a new screen. You need a new power flex. You need a new battery. You need 1 hour of my time on board repair. You need these 2 chips that cost $20. You add all that up with the labor and everything, and you're getting back a phone that's pretty much been liquid damaged before. So it's been liquid damaged before. You're getting back that phone that's been liquid damaged before at God knows what time, because again, while I say 2 to 4 days for board repair, and sometimes quicker, that's for boards that are not a nightmare. The boards that are a nightmare, you're waiting much longer than that. And I know that her model is very similar. For things that are not a nightmare, it's done like that. For things that are a nightmare, bottom of the pile. Whereas, again, at Apple, for $200, you give them that phone, and they're going to give you back something that works perfectly, very quickly. So what she changed to is, instead of this whole model where, again, I'm putting all this time into it, all this parts, all this money, and they're saying, no, send it back to me because Apple will do it for $200, she decided, let me offer something where you know what the price is up front. There's no bickering, but no back and forth arguing, no nothing like that. And I'm going to offer you a specific thing. I'm going to offer you a specific solution for that price. And that's a solution that somebody else won't offer you, which is, I will get you your data. If I can get your data, it's $200. If I cannot get your data, it is $0. Do you want to do it? It just eliminates all the arguing, eliminates all the bullshit, eliminates all the, I want you to replace my battery. And it's like, no, you don't, because when I replace your battery and your phone don't work, you're not going to want to pay me for it. Again, and I think that's a great model. And it works. And it works for me. So if you've asked me, can you replace this specific component on my board? What would it cost? And I say no, or I've ignored your email, or I have not replied to you. I just want you to know it's not because I'm being mean. It's just because my business does not operate on the model of replacing specific things for set rates. I believe in the solutions-based model. In the solutions-based model, here, I'm looking to do is I'm not looking to do what you're telling me to do. I'm looking to figure out the root of your problem and then create a flat rate to solve that problem that I feel will make every bit of my time worth it. Again, the time I spend on the phone with you, the time I spend warranty repairing it if it comes back, the potential ramifications of if something breaks. Again, I've seen these Yelp reviews where people say, well, if you're a professional, you should not be breaking it, so you shouldn't be charging for that. Well, you're right. I shouldn't be breaking it. I shouldn't be charging you for me potentially breaking it, but I am a professional, which is why I'm charging a professional rate. Which is, one way or the other, you're paying for service. And I understand when my model doesn't work. I understand that there are also times where I know damn well that there's a 99% chance that you replace that one little thing and it works again. And if you believe that to be true, I'm not going to have any scorn. Don't get it twisted. There's no hate. There's no disdain here. I'll happily refer you to somebody who has a different business model from me to do that work for you. But it's not going to be me. Again, like if you say, I want you to replace this plug on this camera system, my first question for you is going to be, what is wrong? And when you tell me, well, I'm not getting signal to this camera, and I see that you're using an HD SDI system, and that you're running that HD SDI wire 1,900 feet, like, I know that that's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is instead I'm going to propose a solution to your problem. So your problem is this camera is not working getting signal. You want me to do this? No, 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 no. Again, I tell everybody who works here the same thing. Figure out what it is the person wants to accomplish. Figure out what is their pain point, what is their problem, and then we come up with the solution based on that. Do not do what people ask. And it's not about hating customers. It's not about disdain. I love helping people. I love making systems better. I love doing a lot of the things that I do. But I want to be a part of success. I don't want to be a part of conflict and failure, which is why I use the solutions model. Again, this right here. Can you replace my backlight fuse? This is the original backlight fuse. Look at this. Original backlight fuse. Original backlight fuse. Perfectly fine. The problem was that your chip was missing half of its balls, and that the little traces on the board were barely being held together. So even when you put a new LED driver on, it's flickering, and that's what fixed it. So if I had actually done what this person asked me to do, argument, and I wouldn't have had the time to make this video. I would have spent more time arguing with this person than I would have actually spent on the video. And people say that, again, they get this idea that I have these policies because I hate mankind and I hate all people. It's not that I hate people. It's not that it's that I like my time. I like people. I want this guy to have a working machine without having to spend time arguing and feeling like he got ripped off and going back and forth, which is why I have a solutions model. I don't mind people. I just don't like dealing with unnecessary conflict in business when there's really no reason for it, and setting myself up for that unnecessary conflict and setting myself up to disappoint other people. That's kind of what you're doing when you are not taking responsibility for telling somebody, hey, you're wrong, or you're probably wrong. This is what you actually need. And a lot of people just don't know how to do that.